Next, we visit lean principles as they apply to maintenance. Lean is a concept developed over time by many role players. However, the basic idea originated from Henry Ford and was taken much further by Toyota. The pages in the various editions of Chase and Jacobs, or now Jacobs and Chase, are shown on the slide. Lean was developed from the need to produce more efficiently while using less resources and delivering the need of the consumer. Its focus is to eliminate waste from unnecessary moves, steps, and inventory, while improving through learning. The idea of a process called the value chain developed that lists all steps in the supply chain with the objective of improving those that deliver value and eliminate those that do not. Lean was developed from just-in-time thinking. Just-in-time was popularized in the 70s, but its philosophical roots came from the early 1900s. Henry Ford started the process. He reused even packing crates to eliminate waste. Lean defines customer value as something that the customer is willing to pay for. Value is added as features that the customer wants are added, as opposed to features or activities that brings nothing desirable to the customer's table. Such features or activities are then called waste. Examples of waste: defective products, overproduction, inventories, excess motion, processing steps, transportation, and waiting. Lean does not only apply to manufacturing but also to service industries. Let us consider a flight to the Bahamas. The value that the customer buys is the fact that he is transported to where he wants to go. But there are many non-value added activities such as driving to the airport, having to be at the airport an hour or two early, going through check-in, security, waiting for boarding, and so on. The non-value adding part can sometimes totally overshadow the value adding part. In such a case, the airlines industry should certainly apply themselves towards streamlining the non-value adding steps. Consequently, to understand and apply Lean, one should understand the difference between value and waste, as well as what constitutes value adding and what non-value adding activities. This can be difficult if one contemplates the total supply chain. One should rather focus on the individual processes in the supply chain one by one, with the objective of connecting them in such a manner that value is maximized and waste eliminated. Following, we visit the logic of Lean. Lean production seeks to minimize the inventories of raw materials, work in process, and finished products. Everything needed at a workstation arrives just in time. Also, products are only produced when there is a need, a market for it. That is, it is produced just in time. This is based on the philosophy that only when the customer wants to buy an item is the sub-assemblies pulled from the sub-assembly suppliers and assembled. And then the sub-assembly suppliers then need to pull the parts of the sub-assemblies from fabricators. These fabricators must draw smaller fabrications from their suppliers, and the small part fabricators need to pull their needs, that's materials, etc., from vendors. The production need is created by actual demand for the product. When an item is sold, in theory, the market pulls a replacement from the last position in the system, final assembly in this case. This triggers an order to the factory production line where a worker then pulls another unit from an upstream station in the flow to replace the unit taken. This upstream station then pulls from the next station further upstream and so on back to the release of raw materials. This process is called Kanban in Japanese. It is based on high quality processes, that is without exception. Strong vendor relations and predictable demand. We visit the Toyota production system where Lean was formulated. The Toyota production system is based on two Japanese philosophies: elimination of waste and respect for people. Firstly, then, elimination of waste. Waste is defined as anything other than the minimum amount of equipment, materials, parts, and workers, that is working time, which are absolutely essential to production. It identifies 7 important wasters in the supply chain: overproduction, waiting time, transportation, inventory, processing waste, unnecessary motion, and product defects. Secondly, the principle to respect people. This is central. The intent is to ensure lifetime employment and keep salaries stable. The philosophy is that permanent workers have job security, are more flexible, remain with the company, and do all they can to help a firm achieve its goals. Unions' goal is to create and maintain good relationships with management. Each employee receives 2 bonuses per year, which motivates workers towards high performance. Workers are seen as assets. Routine work is performed through automation and robotics. Much of Toyota's production comes from subcontracting businesses. These subcontractors are seen as partners or even family. Then lean supply chains. The accent is on maximizing value, that is, that which the customer is willing to pay for. A schematic representation of the supply chain, including suppliers, transport, production processes, quality assurance, packaging, interprocess stockpiling and transport, production planning, production control, dispatching, and the customer. This then ends session 3 on lean principles.